Hello and welcome to the episode 4 of Streets to Summits. So, I've been basically doing this, like this is the fourth time I'm doing this, fourth episode, and the reason why I started doing this show, this podcast, is because I wanted something like simple and just, maybe something where I could yap. And actually, I had a podcast a while ago, which was actually like, it's fun to sit down and just talk about things. Not exactly fun doing it solo, but it is what it is right now. But basically, um, I completely forgot what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say is that the reason why I started this is because I wanted something simple, and I started neglecting this so soon. Like the first two episodes, I put in quite a bit of work, like I prepared well. Then the third one, I was in a tiny bit of a rush, and I didn't do as good of a job. And now this one is where like I'm like, okay, well, I am already falling behind. I shouldn't even do it. But instead of just not doing it at all, I thought that it might be, a better idea to just try to like, how do you say, to not stop, to not create a gap, because I imagine that if I do so, I won't come back. So today's episode is gonna be just another chill episode where I'm a tiny bit underprepared, but I still have, things to talk about. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is I don't know how many people have watched, but the video of me, driving to a different city with only paper directions. Now, I chose a very simple route actually. I'd say I chose like basically level one. It was like an hour long drive. I think it was like something around 90 kilometers one way. And I done a pretty decent job, I'd say. I didn't get lost. There was a couple of, there was one point where I was actually like thinking that I was going somewhere where I wasn't supposed to go, like I got off track, but it actually went well. There was just a couple of basically unexpected things. Other than that, things went well. By the way, well, not exactly. A weird noise started appearing from my car, from the driver's side rear wheel, and it actually, I am pretty sure that there is an issue with a fuel venting system in my car, because whenever I open the gas cap, it like, gas is rushing out, which is basically like these two, like that gurgling noise that came from the wheel, and the thing that gases and pressure is like escaping through the gas cap when I open it, basically means that there's a fuel venting system issue, which I'm gonna fix sometime. But yeah, what I liked about driving with only paper directions is that it really made me you know really pay attention, because what I realized is that while I was driving, I always use a GPS because as I said in that video, my navigation skills are awful. I can't remember directions, so I'm always using a GPS. And what I realized is that I am so like, this is such like a thing that like makes the driving so much easier that you stop like really paying attention. And when I was driving with paper directions, I had to really pay attention, like to all of the road signs, to every single town and village that I was passing, so I wouldn't overshoot, that I would take the correct turn. And honestly, I felt like I was really paying much more attention while driving than I usually do, which was actually cool. It was a fun challenge, and I'm actually like kind of looking forward to maybe doing this again, but maybe raise the stakes a tiny bit, maybe choose a tiny bit more difficult uh, route. But the reason why I decided to do this, and the thing where I got the idea for this video, was that I saw a guy on YouTube that flew, I think he's American. Yeah, he's American. He flew from United States to South Africa, bought himself a Harley Davidson, and now he's going to be riding this Harley all the way from South Africa all the way to Norway, I think. I think his goal is like the Arctic Circle, which is like he's doing that with paper directions. And he has like I remember him talking about like he's gonna have like a small piece of paper and he is going to be writing down his directions with a very thick Sharpie, which doesn't really give you a lot of room to write down a lot of directions. So like I don't know, like you need to have balls of steel to do that. Like just fly to another continent to buy a bike to drive it all the way across Africa from south to north, then through Europe to the Arctic Circle. Like that is something that I legit probably I could never do that, I imagine. But another thing that I want to talk about is mountains and mountain climbing. So, uh, you know, there's a video on the Paradiso channel, on my personal channel, the video of me climbing Mount Risi. And actually, I've been thinking about, it would be incredibly difficult, but I would like to do it during winter. And, maybe it's just me, just trying to jump over myself. But my skills are nearly nowhere near good enough. But I would love to climb the mountain during winter and just snowboard down. That seems like it would be so much fun to climb the mountain, chill at the top for a bit, and then find a nice spot, jump on a snowboard and go down. Now, of course, I am like, I know that I'm not exactly the smartest guy in the world, but I have enough knowledge and enough understanding to know that I don't know nothing basically. Because like there's like things that you really would need to prepare for things like that. You need like backcountry snowboarding skills, and you need to know like about like all of the different types of snow, which I know nothing about. Because you might hit powder, you might hit ice patches, you might hit slush, like and avalanche protection and such, and on and on. But it seems like it would be like it's probably one of the things that I would like to have in my bucket list, because it seems so much fun. And like the challenge itself, it seems like it would be this like doing something really difficult and getting a reward for it. Basically, climbing a mountain which is really really difficult, and then the reward would be having fun snowboarding down. So I would love to do that, but like I have nowhere to train my snowboarding skills, and there's no chance of me like improving my skills this upcoming winter, that I could do it, that I could climb and snowboard down, like during this upcoming winter. So this is not going to be happening, unfortunately, this year. No chance of that. But that would be so, so, so cool. And I started to really, really miss snowboarding. Even though I'm not good at it, I'm really missing it. And honestly, like the bad thing is that I don't really have anything to like, swap snowboarding to, during the warmer seasons. Basically, like the closest is probably, surfing, but where I live, I don't have a chance to do that, unfortunately. There's no surfing spots. There are maybe a couple, but the waves are so small that for me to drive like an hour and a half just to, ride some small waves, like really small waves, and then drive again an hour and a half back home, it seems like too much effort for too little reward. I could go wakeboarding, but I have done it once and I didn't really enjoy it. So wakeboarding falls out. The the one thing that seems so much fun, and maybe it's not that similar, to snowboarding, but I would love to buy myself an e-foil. It seems like such a fun thing, just being slightly above the water and just, like e-foils go pretty fast. I think they can reach like 30 kilometers per hour, which, on the water is fast. So I would love to buy myself an e-foil, but they are so expensive. Like their prices are kind of insane in my mind. The cheapest I ever saw was 2,500 euros, used. And then if you want like a new one, it goes like 5, 6,000 and all the way I think to 10 and 12,000. So their prices are way, way, out of my budget, unfortunately. But it definitely seems like, a lot of fun. So maybe one day, if this starts growing, maybe I will start making some money. That is definitely one of the bucket list items that I would really, really love to purchase. Even though I haven't tried it, I already know that I would love it. Like, I, yes, it's a stupid thing to say, but I know that I would like it. So, yeah, unfortunately, cannot improve my snowboarding skills. Can I do really. And I don't really, honestly, I don't really have much to do during the warmer seasons, apart from driving, which I do really enjoy, but, you know, I wish I could go, like e-foiling or maybe doing something else. But, maybe I'll find something this summer. We'll see. Now, going back to mountains, I was really looking into the Matterhorn, and like it's probably one of the most famous mountains in Europe. And I immediately started thinking, how cool it would be to climb it, how much fun, and what kind of a challenge it would be. And the more I looked into it, the quicker I realized that it is way out of my league. Like even with a guide, I think Matterhorn for me would be too difficult and too scary, and I think that I am in no shape or form ready to climb that. So I started looking into something a tiny bit easier, and I came with the conclusion of Gran Paradiso. So its height is, I think, 4,060 something meters. So this is like a tall, alpine mountain over 4,000 meters. So that one, I think, is plausible um, for somebody like me. But I think that I really need to get in shape for Gran Paradiso, and I would really need to save up money. I tried calculating, using ChatGPT, basically how much it would cost, the trip, the guide, renting all of the gear and such. And on like a lower budget, it would cost from 1,000 to 1,300 euros, which I think I could save up, you know, until the next summer. So if I start training a lot, training on my endurance, so, I would be comfortable just keeping a good pace for hours upon hours. I think that Gran Paradiso is very possible for the next year. So that would be great actually. Because I enjoyed Mount Risi as a challenge. It was really fun, even though it broke me completely. And now I want another one. And I think that Gran Paradiso, would be great for the next year. It would be fun to climb another mountain this year, maybe, a tiny bit easier one, a tiny bit more simple. But, I'd say Gran Paradiso, if I prepare myself physically, I get myself a good guide, I think it is very, very possible actually, to do next summer. So that will need, some planning, but I'd say that it would be a great goal for the next summer. Now, I've been talking for a while right now, and I am a tiny bit underprepared, so the last thing I want to talk today is something a tiny bit random. But people who know me know that I really enjoy cinema, I like movies a lot. And the last time I was to a movie theater, I went to a movie theater, I went to Scary Movie 6. And not gonna lie, this, like the movie, like you probably already heard it, you know, that the movie is bad. And honestly, it's sad to say, but you know, I'm not like, I don't go to movie theaters that often, but going to Scary Movie 6 was the first time when I saw people leaving the movie theater. Like, legit, like 20 minutes into the movie, four guys stood up and left, and then maybe like 5 minutes later, another couple of two people, you know, stood up and just left. So six people left the theater, like 25 minutes ish into the movie. And like the movie theater was like decently filled. You know, it was, I'd say, you know, 70% of the seats were filled, maybe more, maybe around 80%, I'd say. And honestly, nobody laughed. It was such a weird feeling knowing that, you know, like we went to like such a nostalgic, you know, movie, comedy, but it wasn't like, I'm saying that it was, you know, if I said the movie was bad, you know, it just might be my opinion, but like nobody laughed in the movie theater. There was like a couple of giggles, and that's it. And honestly, this was a big letdown. You know, I was looking forward to that movie quite a bit actually. And this was like, you know, like you're hyped up for something and it just under delivers by a lot. So I am really looking forward to going to the new Jackass movie, and I really hope that the same thing is not gonna happen. But I guess we'll see. You know, like I don't regret going to Scary Movie 6, but you know, I would like to get my €9 back for the ticket. You know, the movie definitely, like it's better, like it was better, you know, going there than sitting at home, but it was no good. So yeah, really hope that it's not gonna happen to Jackass, the new one. And yeah, I've been yapping for 17 minutes right now, tiny bit over. So again, as I said, unfortunately, tiny bit underprepared today. Hopefully that's not gonna keep repeating. And that's gonna be it, you know? If you watched till the end, thank you for watching. You can visit Periglia.store if you want to check out, find something cool. Maybe, you know, maybe you'll see something that you like. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you next Thursday.